It
Hey,
is Spirit Wisdom Reset, baby. We back. We back up in this piece. Hey, y'all. Hey. What y'all
greetings.
doing? Yes, yes, yes. Today, honey, we going to talk about adulting. This is permanent, honey. Adulting
Hmm.
is permanent. You know, when you used to be a little kid and you just wanted to be an adult so bad. And you just, I can't wait till I get grown and I can't wait till I do this and I can't wait till I do that. And then all of a sudden, bam, you out there in the real world and life takes hold of you. And you think, why did I say I want to be an adult? Why did I just stay a kid longer? Listen, because when you become an adult, this ish is permanent, honey. Permanent. Permanent. And you can't take it back. You can't go back. So there's got to be ways you can deal with it, grow into it, unfold into it, and get your life
Hmm.
right into it. Okay. So you might as well accept the fact that this ish is permanent. What you say?
Yes, I definitely feel like it's a lesson I'm constantly learning. And I had to learn that the hard way, as a lot of us do. I think back to when I was younger and how I just wanted to be grown so bad. And I just thought that I knew so much.
Mm-hmm.
And the older that I get, the more that I realize I don't know anything. And the more okay I am with that. That is the best feeling to um to to just realize that there is so much unknown, and also that I'm willing to challenge my own beliefs and challenge what I
Mm-hmm.
thought was true, or challenge what I, was conditioned to believe was true, and to question these
Right.
things.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, we talked about that in previous episodes, but I feel like um, there's sometimes like we're rushing to be an adult, and like, what does that even mean anymore? Like, I feel like this, when it comes to age, like trying to
Mm-hmm.
compare like chronological age and adulthood, like that shit just does not match up to me. It's
At
like, oh,
all.
you're an adult and you're 18. That's bullshit. Flag on the
Yeah.
play. That's
I
bullshit.
mean, listen, flag on the play, foul, man down.
Man down. I refuse to believe, like like it does not make sense. When I look back now, it's just like no, it doesn't make sense. I feel like I'm just now at a point that I'm really stepping into
Yeah,
adulthood. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like,
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Like there's these different phases that you go through in your life, and it's not. It doesn't matter what age it is that you're in to go to specific phases in your life to get to the point where you realize that, oh, wait a minute, I'm just now starting to adult. Like I'm just getting the hang of this thing, and like now what do I do? You know what I'm saying? So
mhm.
you got people who are still in those different phases and processes where they are like trying to figure it out. They're trying to figure out, what does paying rent look like? I'm used to mom doing that or dad doing that or my parents doing that. What does taking care of children look like on my own with little to no support? Like what does that look like? If we want to talk about real life situations, let's talk about real life situations and where we are in those situations, and how, regardless to what situation you're in or what phase of adulting you're in, there are things you can do in each of those phases that are similar, that would be able to assist you in whatever phase you in. You know what I'm saying? I feel like the first thing is acceptance, accepting that this thing is real, accept that, oh shit, I am no longer with my mama. I am no longer, with my family members that was taking care of things. I'm actually out here on my own doing it. So I'm making some mistakes. Like nobody ever taught me this stuff, except the fact that how you were raised is not necessarily how you will live.
Mhm.
When you accept adulting as a permanent thing, you're accepting, that all things that you were taught may not necessarily be truth for you and how you want to operate and how you want to live, you know,
Yeah.
and that alone can take some getting used to, because you have to go through a process. But you know, that's for, you know, our second series. It's that first part of the series that's going to come up in the next video, and the next episode. But acceptance is key. Is key. What do you feel that once one is accepted, what is as is, what will be the next phase in this adulting thing?
Boundaries.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
Because, once you have accepted it, you accept it for yourself, but then even if you're not, even if you're only internally accepting, right? Because it starts there with the
Mm-hmm.
internal. You
Mm-hmm.
might not, you may or may not be at a place where you need to express what that looks like verbally to other people. So sometimes what you accept for yourself, that means in order to protect that, in order to honor that, then you need to have some sort of personal boundary, whether it's one within yourself or one when it comes to other people. So I feel like it can go a couple of ways with internal versus external aspects of boundaries as well as acceptance. But I definitely believe boundaries is a very important step for sure. You are frozen. Can you hear me?
Hey, we're still there. I'm back. What happened?
Okay. I don't know.
You
It
start
was
talking about
frozen.
boundaries. You start talking about boundaries, and the whole energy was like, ah, I got to do that. Wait a minute. I was like, can you see me? Could you see me any of those times?
It was frozen. Like your screen was frozen.
Okay, that's all right. We back now. That's all that matters. Now tell us about these boundaries.
So with boundaries, having once you're at a point where you have accepted, whether you're at that point of acceptance, and that could be internal acceptance or whatever that looks like for you, having some sort of boundary to honor what you have
Mhm.
accepted will be really important. And that boundary may be a personal internal boundary, one for yourself, like one
Mhm.
that doesn't necessarily need to be expressed to other people, or it might be one that requires you to establish boundaries externally, and by that meaning with other people.
Mhm.
So yeah, because you have to honor what you accept.
Right.
Um, what you're accepting about yourself, or what you're realizing it, or having a way to but I guess it also can depend on what the acceptance is, right? But it's like, okay, well, how are you, what is that going to look like? You can accept something and then also want to change it. That could be, both can be true at the same time.
Absolutely.
And I feel like, when it comes to these two things of, you accept a thing, accept that this is the reality of the situation.
Right.
You don't
Except
have to
what
like
is.
it. Right.
Mhm.
You also don't have to like it. You can accept something and change it, or and
Mhm.
want to change it, but
Mhm.
just honor where you are. Right. So honoring
Absolutely.
doesn't always mean, okay, yes, I'm in a place in my life that I don't want to be, and I'm just gonna, it's like, honor where you are and just realize, okay, this is where I'm at, because having that awareness is really important, so you
Mhm.
can decide how you want to change, who you want to become, who's the person that
Right.
you want to be. And so I feel like those two, acceptance and boundaries, they
Mhm.
definitely go hand in hand, because
Mhm.
whatever got you to where you are,
Mhm.
is that going to get you to where you want to be? No,
Right.
there, something
Right.
has to adjust or change at some
Right,
point.
because nothing changes until it becomes what it is. I've said that
Right.
before in our last episode. It's so true with everything. Nothing changes until it becomes what it is. So once you accept what is as is, then you can know what type of boundaries to put up. But first, I want to say that you want to, and this is, I'm going into what we're going to talk about in the part two of this. But with the boundaries, you want to first recognize in your acceptance and awareness whether you're going to change or keep something the same, what type of boundary is it that you have in relation to that, and we'll cover that later. But boundary is important. And then, so after you have that boundary, you set those by acceptance, boundary, and then create yourself a plan.
Mhm.
You create a plan, and when you create a plan, for what you see you are in that moment, because these what we're offering, these steps we're offering are going to be for whatever phase you're in realizing that this ish is real, whether you're just coming out your mom's house, whether you are, divorced after being married for 10, 15 years and your life is now suddenly changed, and you're still adulting. This ish is permanent. This ish is permanent, baby. It ain't going nowhere. So you might as well have some tips and nuggets that you can use as basic fundamentals to get you through each one of those situations or phases in adulting that you're in. And so the next phase would be to create a plan. And when I say that, I mean to say a plan is pivotal to have, because it gives you direction based off of what your intuition tells you. Now, your plan is going to be specifically unique to you, and it's not going to follow that of other people. Now, it may, in fact, be similar to some other, but it will not follow anything exactly like someone else, because you are uniquely made. You are crafted just special. And as you're coming further into your adulthood, and the shit, you could be into your adulthood 30, 40, 50, 60. Some people don't realize that adulting is permanent until they're in their 70s. Then they start to actually grow up. But whatever phase you're in, whatever number you are, doesn't matter. It's the phases that you're in. We all get them differently. But having that plan will be able to get you to a space and place of direction, intuitive direction. So we'll get into that later. What would you say the next phase was, the next step, once they have accepted what is, created those boundaries specific to whatever that is, and created a plan? What would you say the next and final thing would be?
I believe the final thing is process, because
Mm,
you can plan things all day, but then you need a process to integrate this plan into your life. Like, how are you going, like what are going to be the steps, and how is this going to look on a day to day? What is that
mhm.
like, what's the integration process?
So, oh
um
yeah,
yeah,
integration.
yeah, so
Yes.
I feel like that part is really important. And there's something, Spirit has really guided me to really say, for what you mentioned about the planning, is don't like are I guess the question is, are you just are you waiting to die? Like, is that what
Mm,
you're doing? Is that like, because sometimes you reach a certain age and it's like, oh well, people aren't always thinking about what they want their life to look like as they get older. It's like there's life beyond your, your 50s and 60s
right.
and 70s,
Right.
and people are living well into their hundreds. And it's like,
Right.
if you're just, and sometimes we don't even think about it. So it's like, are
Right.
you just waiting around to die, or are you
Right.
proactively living your life
Living. Okay.
with the intention of living a long, prosperous, abundant life? Like,
Yes.
what, and even if that seems impossible, then it's like, well, what,
Mhm.
imagine what that could be. So I feel like planning, and there's different stages of planning, and when you get to different phases in your life, like, your perspective of what that could look like can change. But for some reason that just
Mhm.
kept coming up. It's like, if whoever is out there listening or watching, if you are consciously or unconsciously just waiting around to die, versus like
Mm.
proactively, like, living your life and doing what
Oh,
you
baby.
what you feel in your, like, in your heart, like really thriving in the life that you have.
Listen, listen, listen. We're gonna break that down. We're gonna break that down when it comes to the planning session, because she dropping some bombs on you, some things you need to think about. That deserves deeper elaboration.
Yeah.
Yeah, y'all make sure y'all come on and check the rest of our series. But we're the one final piece is the processing and integration. I think I enjoyed that greatly, because as you were expressing, to see how you would integrate, what would be the process for you in this new acceptance, new boundary, new plan. How would you implement? What would you do daily? Things of that nature to help you to allow this new way of adulting to be a part of your life, your everyday life, that's going to continue to open up the doors for expansiveness. So I am excited to explore each one of these further, you guys. Listen, um, so we're going to go over acceptance, boundaries, plan, creating a plan, processing and integrating. We're going to go over those in depth in the next episodes. So be certain to get on over to our beautiful platform on YouTube, Spirit Wisdom Reset. Go over to our IG page. Do your thing, do your thing, do your thing. If you got some questions, share in the comments. We will answer in our Q&A sessions. That is our reset sessions where we do Q&A and recap on every series. We have so much in store for you guys. I have enjoyed where we are thus far. And I looked to expounding this a lot further. I am Mayette Ajay. We keep forgetting to introduce ourselves, like it don't even matter because that's not what we're here for, right? But I am Mayette Ajay, and this is my beautiful, beautiful, gorgeous co-host.
Ujo Wajette.
Shit. Whoop, 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 whoop. Anything else you want to say before we say goodbye to these lovely folks?
No, we'll see y'all on the next one.
All right. Talk soon, y'all.